Hello, welcome to Charlie's Garage. I just got finished taking some ASE recertification exams, and it reminded me of all the times that I have students ask me the question, do I need to take an ASE test? Are ASE certifications important? And that's always a really hard question to answer because it's not a simple yes or no. Generically speaking, they can't hurt you, right? I mean, you can take them if you pass them. You've got a piece of paper that you can add to your resume, but the importance that people are going to place on those are really dependent on the circumstances, right? So I'll give you a circumstance of where they are important. Someone like myself who teaches classes, I teach engine classes, I teach hydraulics, I teach truck PMs. I think it's important for someone like me to be able to pass a test in the subject area that I teach. And that's actually a requirement of the school because ASE is what kind of builds our curriculum for us based on the different subject areas. And you'll notice that if you go to a school like Universal Technical Institute, that the courses are arranged in topics that are basically ASE testing topics, right? So that's why we have that requirement. So that's why I have to maintain this. I have my master heavy duty truck. I have auto certification for when I go teach the auto 101 intro to engines course. I have the mounted equipment certification for teaching hydraulics. So in my situation as an instructor, yeah, they're really critical and they're important. An example of where they might not be so important. I went and interviewed with Caterpillar one time, and at Caterpillar, I went in there with my resume and all my ASE certs, and they weren't impressed, right? Their first question to me after reading through all my ASE certs and my experience was, do you have any CAT certs, right? So for a company like Caterpillar, they're more concerned about, do you have experience with theirs? Are you certified to work on their equipment, right? And it doesn't mean you won't be able to get a job with them. It just means that you might be an experienced on-highway truck technician with a lot of ASE certifications, but if you go to work for CAT, you might be starting a little bit lower on the rung because you got to work your way up through their system, not through the ASE system, right? On the inverse of that, if you're working for a dealership on the auto side, they like to have those ASE certifications. And then there's some fleets, like for example, when I worked at the school district, you got an extra 25 cents an hour for every ASE certification that you had. So there was people I worked with a ridiculous amount of ASE certifications, even ones that had nothing to do with school buses. My shop foreman had nothing but ASE certification patches all over his shirt, and it was just ridiculous, right? But they valued those because it made the community feel good that ASE certified technicians were repairing the buses that their children were riding, right? So there was some value there for that. And in the auto world, they like the ASE certifications, but where the ASE certifications become really important is your third-party aftermarket shops, right? So if you own, like if Charlie's Garage was an actual real building where I worked on cars and trucks and I wasn't affiliated with a dealership or with a brand, I was just a third-party dude fixing stuff, the only way I have to assure the public that I know what I'm doing is my ASE certifications. So that's why you see these third-party shops oftentimes. We employ ASE certified technicians, and they have the banners up and they have the ASE certificates displayed on the walls. And that's important to them because it lets people that aren't mechanically inclined, that don't know any much about automotive, kind of feel a little bit more comfortable of trusting their vehicle to those people. Whereas at the dealerships where they're Ford, GM, whatever, I think some of them really like to have ASE certifications. I think some of them are more concerned with factory certifications on specific vehicles and types and stuff like that. So that's why I say when the students ask me that question, I just kind of look at them and go, well, what do you want to do, right? Because that's going to make a huge difference. So like I said at the beginning of the video, yeah, they're important. They're not going to hurt you. If you can take them, and if you have the money to take them, or if an employer is willing to pay for you to take them, then go ahead and take them. It's not a big deal. they can't hurt your career by having them, but they're not always going to be beneficial depending on which direction you choose to go. And to be honest with you, for those of you that aren't mechanically inclined, you're just watching this channel to find out more about ASE certifications, then I will be honest with you and tell you that some of these tests that I have passed, you do not need to be an expert in that subject area to pass that test. I spent most of my career as a heavy equipment mechanic, so I had very little experience in the heavy truck steering and suspension part. The engines parts, the brakes, stuff like that, there was a lot of crossover between heavy equipment and heavy duty trucks. So I, of course, did really well on those tests and everything else. But on the steering and suspension one, I'll be honest, I guess a lot on those questions because I didn't spend a lot of time with alignment machines and doing camber and caster, and I understand it a little bit more now. And it's also one of the reasons why I don't teach that class, because I don't have that experience, even though I have the ASE certification just from being able to take tests well. So yeah, seeing a shop that has ASE certifications and stuff should make you feel a little bit better about having them work on your car. But don't expect everyone that has that certification to be an expert in their field, unfortunately. So if you like learning more about diesels and you like learning more about the automotive diesel technician world, please like and subscribe to the channel. Every like, every subscribe helps more people see the videos. I can teach more young people about things that relate to diesel world. So I appreciate your support. Have a good one.